We are very pleasured this morning to have Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani to be our guest speaker this morning. Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani was born in Etajima City in Hiroshima to Noriyuki and Yoko Umitani. He grew up at the family temple Hongwanji, which was established in 1585, making him the 17th generation of ministers. Umitani Socho received his Tokudo ordination in 1998 and his Kyoshi certification in 2000. He also went a year to Gonchiki Shidosho, where he received his Tokubetsu Homuin, the special chanting and ritual certification. There are only a handful of ministers outside of Japan with the Tokubetsu Homuin, and right now in this room, we have 3 ministers who hold the chanting and ritual certification. In 2001, Umitani Socho became part of the staff at the Hongwanji International Center, and later that year had his orientation at the Honpa Hongwanji Missions of Hawaii headquarters. Afterwards, he was assigned to the Honpa Hongwanji Hawaii Betsuin and later the Kalui Hongwanji mission in 2004, and the Makawao Hongwanji mission in 2005. Umitani Socho became executive assistant to the bishop in 2011, where he took on many roles during the 7 years there, including school chaplain at the Pacific Buddhist Academy from 2014 and overseeing minister of Kailua Hongwanji mission in 2017 and Mo Ili Ili Hongwanji mission in 2018. In later 2018, he became the resident minister of the Mo Ili Ili Hongwanji mission, and in 2023, he became the 17th bishop of the Honpa Hongwanji mission of Hawaii. He is here today with his spouse, Yoshiko Umitani, and their children, Naho and Miho. Please welcome Bishop Toshiyuki Umitani. Umitani Sensei, どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Okay, shall we raise our hands together in Gassho? Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namanda, Snamanda, Snamanda, Snamanda. Hi, ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. Aloha. Well, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to visit the Tacoma Buddhist Temple. Well, first of all, I'd like to express my appreciation to Kusunoki Rinban, Tadao Sensei, and Shinri Sensei, and all the Sangha members of these 3 temples. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to deliver a message on this Spring Ohigan service. And I also understand that this is the Tacoma's BWA memorial service. Lady Takeko Kujo and Lady Noriko Ohtani's memorial service. Well, this is the second time that I'm visiting this state. The last time was maybe 2 years ago, when my first daughter was accepted to the college here. We had a quick trip to this state. At that time, I only stayed 2 nights, and so the only place I went was for college and Space Needle. But this time, our family is staying for 7 nights, and so we are enjoying this beautiful state, Washington. We visited the UW, University of Washington's cherry blossom on Wednesday, Thursday. So beautiful, man, very beautiful. Yeah, I really enjoyed visiting that place. This so today we are observing the Ohigan service, right? And we do have this service twice a year, once in spring and once in autumn. Yeah. And then when we hold this spring Ohigan service, this is the time for us to take a moment of reflection and think about my life, how I'm living my life. Okay? Since Reverend Cindy introduced me, I came to Hawaii in 2001. So since then, over 20 years has passed. And today I'd like to talk to you about when I first came to Hawaii. And I still remember, it was July 1st, 2001. I never been to Hawaii, so my family came to the airport. My family and friends came to the airport to see me off. Okay. My friends said to me like, well, have a good time in Hawaii. When you have a hard time, come back to Japan any time. Things like that. And so after a while, I was about to say goodbye to my family and friends. And then at that time, my father, who was very quiet until then, said to me, give this letter. He said, read this in the airplane. So when I rode on the airplane, after a while we had dinner, and then people began to sleep. So, and I remember about this letter, and I opened this letter, and then it goes like this. Okay? Now you will start your new life in a new environment. Please take care of your health. Do not forget that there are many people supporting you, and do your best to spread Buddhism in Hawaii. Cherish each encounter with ministers, temple members, and people in the community, and try to be a person who is loved by many people. For that, you must be always mindful of your words, thoughts, and actions. I'm always proud of you that you are working as a minister in a foreign country. And my feeling right now is just as this poem says. And this is the Japanese poem. It goes like this. 別れても同じ妙屋の慈悲の中、皆唱えれば呼びつ呼ばれつ。Even though we separate, we are within the same compassion of the dear parent Amida. By reciting his name, Namo Amida Butsu, we shall call and respond to each other always. And my father concluded his letter by saying, even though we are separated from each other, my heart will always be with you. Take care. And so that was this letter from my father. And after reading this letter, many memories, arose in my heart. And tears welled in my eyes. And I was made aware of the truth that I was embraced by my father's compassion, that's always caring about his son. whatever I'm doing and wherever I'm going, I am not alone. There is a person who is thinking about me. There's a person who welcomes me with open arms. And when I realize that, my heart is filled with gratitude, full of gratitude. And before riding on the airplane, my heart was filled with anxiety or fear for the unknown future. But thanks to this letter, all of this anxiety or fear had disappeared. Now I was ready to move forward. So that letter, I still keep this letter with me, and whenever I encounter challenges or difficulties, I still read this letter, and then remember this that I am not alone. Right? So this is my treasure, and then I'm sure you all have your treasure. Some of the treasures maybe you can see, you can have on your hand, but some maybe you cannot see. But even though you cannot see, there's a treasure, right? And that treasure is the one that sustains you, that gives you the energy or courage to move forward. So, and then by the way, speaking of the new, as a new minister, so after that airplane landed, one of the ministers in Hawaii came to pick me up, and then instead of going to the Hawaii Betsuin, he took me to the, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Hawaii, but there's the called Diamond Head, and then by the Diamond Head, there's a beautiful road, ocean road. So he took me there, and he said, on the other side of the ocean, there's Japan. Now you came to the foreign country, and I'm sure your heart is filled with loneliness or fear, but don't worry, you are not alone. The other side of the ocean, there is Japan. We are always connected. So together with my father's letter and then this minister's message gave me a profound joy. That was the wonderful beginning of my career as a minister. So I was so grateful for my father and this minister. By the way, he said Japan is on that side. But actually, Japan is. At that time, I didn't know. I had no idea. Well, maybe Japan does. Okay, but that's how we tend to think about Japan that side. No, when we think about it, direction doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No matter which direction we face, we are always, and then again, even though we cannot see, we are your life, my life, always enveloped, embraced by the great compassion. This is the meaning of Higan. Higan is not the somewhere else, but this is the working of great wisdom and compassion, encouraging each and every one of us always. Never forget us. Never forget about us. Never abandon us. Such a compassionate working is always embracing our life. So we are truly grateful, and then we start by realizing again this compassionate working. Whatever challenges we encounter in our lives, I think we can move forward. So let us remember that such a compassionate working, whenever we place our hands in Gassho and recite Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, then we receive such a compassion. So with that, I'd like to close my message for the Dharma School students. So thank you very much, and please place your hands together in Gassho. Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Snamanda, 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 Snamanda. Now shall we place our hands together in Gassho? It is extremely difficult to accomplish the saving of others just as one wishes. However much love and pity we may feel in our present lives, it is hard to save others as we wish. Hence, such compassion remains unfulfilled. Only the saying of the Nembutsu, then, is the mind of great compassion that is thoroughgoing. Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida. So once again, good morning everyone, and welcome to the Spring Ohigan service. First of all, I guess the news of the Seattle Betsuin's fire was truly saddening. I'd like to express my sympathy to Reverend Tsunoki and the Seattle Betsuin Sangha members for your big loss. I heard that it'll take some time and many efforts to return back to normal. But I sincerely hope that you will have a speedy recovery as soon as possible, so that once again people, especially the Seattle Betsuin Sangha, can return to their spiritual home and enjoy listening to the Dharma and the fellowship. So I express my deepest sadness, sorrow for all of you. But as I was listening, especially the announcement, listening to the announcement, I realized that these three temples are working together to overcome this challenging situation, and I really feel how wonderful it is, that both Tacoma and White River Sanghas extended your caring heart or compassion for the Sangha of Seattle Betsuin Temple. So please know that you are not alone. On behalf of the ministers and members of the Honpa Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, please know that you are not alone. So, in the world we live in today, there is an endless list of challenging issues, such as wars, terrorist attacks, global warming, environmental degradation, natural disasters. And we can no longer say that these issues have nothing to do with our lives, because each of our lives is deeply connected with the lives of others. So I think how we act, how we think, and what we say or what we don't say does affect the lives of others. Both our happiness and unhappiness are not separate from those of others. Buddha taught us that life is suffering, but he also told us that suffering is the gateway to compassion. We all face some suffering and adversities in our lives, and Buddhism does not teach us how we can avoid from these sufferings. Buddhism teaches us how we can cultivate deep insight into the nature of individual and social suffering, and teaches us the importance of cultivating wisdom and compassion so that we live this unrepeatable life, meaning-free and greed-free together. So today we observe Higan service, and Higan means the other shore. It is the abbreviation of Tohigan, meaning reaching the other shore of the pure or enlightenment. Conducted during the spring and autumn equinox, when days and nights are all of equal length. For Shin Buddhists, it is a service to contemplate the reality of human existence and the vow of Amida Buddha that works tirelessly for spiritual liberation. In Shin Buddhism, we will be born in the Pure Land and become Buddhas through Amida's work. Therefore, we regard this Higan observance an important occasion to praise Amida Buddha and listen to his guidance, which helps us to live our lives meaning-free and greed-free. Whenever I observe this Higan service, there is one Chinese character I always think of, which is the character of Nishi, the West. In the sutras, the Western land is a symbolic direction of the Pure Land. As the sun rises from the east and goes down in the west, our life also returns to the Pure Land. While observing the sundown in the west, people in the past contemplated the Pure Land in the west. And the Chinese character of the West, Nishi, in Japanese, can be divided into two parts. The one side represents the bird, flying the bird, and the other kanji is the house, the nest. The bird and the nest combined create the character of Nishi, the West. So the birds, during the day, they fly around, enjoy the day, but in the evening, they all return to their nest, where they can feel, they can rest assured, they can feel at home. Because they have a nest where they go back to, they can enjoy the day. So, like these birds, the Pure Land is the place that we will go back to at the end of our lives. But it also gives us a purpose, a sense of comfort, and sense of security in the here and now. Pure Land is our spiritual home, and Amida is our spiritual parent who welcomes us with open arms. Speaking of our spiritual home, this temple is your spiritual home. Come to think of it, being able to get together at this temple is a wonderful thing. I hope we will cherish every Sunday or whenever we come get together. Let us cherish each encounter, each opportunity. This is a wonderful gift that we have received, we have inherited from those who passed away before us. Speaking of the spiritual home, as you all know, last year in August, the Lahaina Hongwanji mission on the island of Maui was involved in the Maui wildfire. And I'm sure many of you have watched many news or newspaper about this Maui wildfire. But the town of Lahaina is, I'm sure you know, it's a very famous sightseeing spot. And every day, a lot of people visited the Lahaina and enjoy shopping and the sun, beautiful sun in Hawaii. However, on August 8th, the entire Lahaina town, almost all the buildings was burned to the ground. Over 2,000 acres of land have been burned down. More than 2,000 buildings and at least 100 precious lives were lost. Lahaina Hongwanji Mission was I used to live on Maui, not the Lahaina Hongwanji, but I used to visit Lahaina Hongwanji many times. And that was the temple, like here at the Tacoma, this was the temple filled with the sound of Namo Amida Butsu. Every Sunday we enjoyed listening to the sound of Namo Amida Butsu. I'd like to share, this is the, sorry, can you go back to the first one, sorry. So this is the picture of I'm sure many of you have seen this picture. This became a very famous picture. And on the right side, you see the building of the Lahaina Hongwanji Mission. The left side is a church next door, a church social hall. And the Lahaina's temple, you see the top of the Lahaina's building. So this fire occurred on August 8th. And this was the temple before the fire. Okay, that's the next one, please. And then so this is maybe you can go back to the page, one slide. You see the steps to the entrance of the temple, and then go to the next page. This is where we're standing on the top of the steps. Okay. So when you go up to the steps, you're supposed to have the entrance of the Hondo building. But now the Hondo, which was on the second floor, had totally disappeared. And then now there was like a 5 feet, maybe more, maybe 6 feet or 7 feet around. So there was this is the picture of the building facing from the steps. And this is the minister's residence. The next one. And the temple office used to be here. And on the right side, you see 3, 4, 5 cabinets. And then the next to it, the right side, that's the printer, the copier. Yeah. Okay, the next one. And this is the social hall. You see some chairs and tables lined up. And so every Sunday, after the Sunday service, we used to go down to this social hall and enjoy the fellowship. Next, please. And this was the picture of there was a 2-story building, and we used to rent out for the martial arts or Japanese school classes. So originally the temple had a beautiful altar, but all had disappeared. And Reverend Hironaka, the resident minister, and myself, when we visited there in November, we wore these clothes, and then we were looking for the remains. But unfortunately, not too many things. Most of the things were burnt, and we were not able to. We kind of hoped that we would be able to find some part of Amida Buddha statue, so this was the kind of area where Amida Buddha was there. Okay, next one. And this is the picture of Shinran Shonin and Yagura for the Bon dance. So that weekend, the temple was planning to have a Bon dance. So people were busy preparing for the Bon dance, but this happened. And if you see Shinran Shonin statue, kind of carefully, so the temple building was behind Shinran Shonin, so kind of a little bit burned the Shinran Shonin the back of Shinran Shonin statue. So that kind of shows how strong the fire was. And this is the Nokotsudo, the columbarium. Yes, fortunately it was saved, did not affect by the fire. There were some small damages here and there, but inside, on the next page, the inside is the big, this is the inside, all the niches and the Amida's onaibutsu was safe. And this is the last picture. As you see, Shinran Shonin statue, so the temple building was the other side. And in the front, there's the small tree. And this tree was planted by Gomonshu, our spiritual leader in Kyoto. When he visited Hawaii in 2017, he planted this tree. And fortunately, this tree was also safe. So yeah, I think this is the last one. Can you go to the next one? That's the last one, yeah? Okay, yeah. So these are the picture of the, thank you, Lahaina Hongwanji. And so as you see these pictures, Lahaina Hongwanji was burned to the ground, and as far as the members, one member passed away by the fire that day, but others, many of them, actually more than half of the membership lost their houses, and so they're still living as evacuees. And, some of them are on Maui, some of them moved to Honolulu or the other island or the mainland. So, but I really hope that the temple will be rebuilt soon as possible. Not only the temple, but the Lahaina town will back to like before. But at this time, on behalf of the Honpa Hongwanji Mission Hawaii, I'd like to express my deepest appreciation to all of you for your donation and kind words. We receive tremendous amount of support for the Lahaina Hongwanji from BCA, Canada, and all over the world. For that, we are truly grateful. So at this time, please allow me to say thank you for your wonderful donation and contribution. So I'd like to share with you one experience that I had for this Lahaina. This was about 3 weeks after the fire. For the first time, I visited Maui, Lahaina, and so together with Reverend, we visited the Lahaina. At that time, we were not allowed to enter the zone, the area. So we went to the kind of hill, the top of the hill, and then looked down the Lahaina town. We were able to see that we kind of noticed that all the buildings were disappeared. So we placed our hands together from there, look toward the temple building, and we recited Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. And then when I looked next to me, I saw my friend, my Dharma friend, is crying. He put his hands there's a fence, so he put his hands on the fence, squeezed his hands tightly, and shed tears as he looked down. And I couldn't do anything for my friend, but to put my hands on his shoulder like this. That's all I could do. I couldn't say anything. But since then, I've been thinking of the meaning of his tears. It must be the tears of sorrow, of losing everything that he cherished. It must have been tears of regret, maybe, for not being able to protect the temple. Those were the tears that I would never be able to comprehend. So, two of us were saying, well, right now we can only put our hands together from here, but let's, when the temple is open, let's return, as soon as possible, and then put our hands together once again. And that became, so back after that, in November, now the temple area was open for the residents. So we visited once again, and then on the top of the steps, we placed our hands together in Gassho. So personally, as I cope with the Maui wildfires as bishop of the Hawaii Kyodan, I realized how difficult it is to empathize with the feelings of those who are directly affected by the disaster. I feel helpless and lament the limitation of my compassion toward others. And so I recall the words of Shinran Shonin in the Tannisho. It is extremely difficult to accomplish the saving of others just as one wishes. However much love and pity we may feel in our present lives, it is hard to save others as we wish. Hence, such compassion remains unfulfilled. Like Shinran Shonin said, it is true that we cannot save others as we wish. As he said, I felt that my compassion was limited and unfulfilled. How difficult it is to stand in solidarity with the pains and sorrows of others. But Shinran Shonin continued, saying, only the saying of the Nembutsu, then, is a mind of great compassion that is thoroughgoing. Only the saying of the Nembutsu is the mind of great compassion that is thoroughgoing. So Shinran Shonin told us that the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, is the Buddha's heart of great compassion. The great compassion of the Buddha cherishes all beings, empathizes with the suffering of sentient beings. Amida Buddha resolved to save them from their suffering no matter what, even if they should be subjected, even if Amida himself is subjected to all kinds of suffering and torment. Because we are limited, because our compassion is limited due to our egos and self-centeredness, Amida Buddha promised to fulfill his boundless wisdom and compassion. And such an unwavering commitment of Amida manifests in us as Namo Amida Butsu. So the voice of Namo Amida Butsu that we recite is the compassionate call of Amida. Namo Amida Butsu is always with us, right here, right now. And that's the meaning of Higan. Higan is not simply the other shore that has nothing to do with our lives. Higan is the Pure Land of Amida has been established for us who cry over the sad reality on this shore. So such the calling of Namo Amida Butsu, saying, let me take care of you, I will never abandon you. In that embrace, both you and I are illuminated and embraced guided by such compassion. So even though, speaking of Lahaina Hongwanji mission, even though the temple had disappeared, even though the statue of Amida Buddha was also burned to the ground, its compassionate work has never disappeared. It continues to guide us as our own voice of Nembutsu. In the Nembutsu that we recite at Lahaina, we receive the compassion of Amida that envelopes all of our suffering, sorrow, powerlessness, frustration, and yet keeps calling us. It must be painful, it must be sad, but I will never abandon you. I will never let you go. So to me, this is the meaning of Shinran Shoni's statement. Only the saying of Nembutsu then is a mind of great compassion that is thoroughgoing. So once again, Higan is our spiritual home, where Amida Buddha and other Sangha members welcome us with open arms. Our existence, our life is always recognized, affirmed, and appreciated. And like birds that has their own home, our temple or Amida Buddha, our dear parent, affirms me as I am and gives me a lasting peace. And today we are also honoring Lady Takeko Kujo, and I'm not gonna I don't have time to introduce Lady Takeko Kujo. However, just let me introduce one of her poems, which I think we are singing after this message. That is called Seiya, in English, Splendor of an Evening Sky. Splendor of an evening sky, who can ever fathom its timeless mystery? Million eyes, when sparkling bright in the sable sky, touch my heart, my lonely heart, with serenity. More than all the countless sands Ganges River holds are the infinite Buddhas who fill this universe, ever watchful over us throughout day and night. Hearing this, my lonely heart fills with lasting peace. So Lady Takeko Kujo expressed that her lonely heart is illuminated by the light of the Buddhas which fills this universe. It touches her heart and fills it with lasting peace. Shinran Shoni also wrote that Amida Buddha is a great torch in the long night of ignorance. A life without a torch is filled with fear, loneliness, anxiety, and darkness. But a life with a torch is filled with joy, gratitude, and brightness. That is what Lady Takeko Kujo expressed in her poem. Knowing that the Buddhas, more than the number of Ganges River sands, always illuminating me, my heart is filled with gratitude. So, Ohigan is a time to reaffirm that my life, your life, is always illuminated, guided, and embraced by the light of Amida Buddha. And that, as we place our hands in Gassho and recite Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, this is how we meet Amida's great compassion. So, with that, I'd like to close my Dharma message for today. But once again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to visit the Tacoma Buddhist Temple and observe this Ohigan service with all of you. So, as we recite Namo Amida Butsu after this, let us listen. Let us listen to this, the voice of Namo Amida Butsu that you recite, the voice that your friends, your Dharma friends recite. And those are the voices of Amida calling me, embracing me, just as I am. So please put your hands in Gassho. Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida,